What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Screaming for Screambox. I am Brett Parker, and today we are talking about creeping death. So, we are here again to talk about another Screambox exclusive, and I'm very excited to talk about this one because this one was a lot of fun. I had a great time. It is a very micro budgeted film. You could tell it was made for very little money, but I think what was really fun about it was just how fun everyone seemed to be having making this. It had some really good effects for the budget, and I just love when like new lore is introduced to one of the greatest holidays of all time, which is Halloween. So let me go to IMDb. I'm going to read you the description of what this movie is all about, and then I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the movie and kind of the goods, the bads, no uglies. This movie was fun, and I'm going to talk about kind of why you should check it out. But here we go. So Halloween was always Tim's favorite holiday until his mother was diagnosed with brain cancer. Now all he wants is a quiet night in. That is quickly disrupted when his friends pay him an unwanted visit after stealing a mysterious sack from the doorstep of a local crazy. This sacrilegious act unleashes the Eos Sea, a Celtic spirit that walks the earth on Halloween. They must band together and survive the night or make the ultimate offering their lives. This Halloween, all who trick are treats. Now, for people who have listened to the show before, I am a huge fan of Trick or Treat from 2009 or 2007, my mistake. I love that anthology. I love kind of this new origin or lore for Halloween. So when I got this screener from Screambox, which always thank you Screambox for providing this and letting me get to access these movies early, I was all in. I love the cover of this movie. It's this melting pumpkin, which is really cool, and just creeping death. And kind of reading the description of the movie, I was sold. I go into this movie and I'm kind of expecting your typical like Halloween type movie where it's like a bunch of teenagers, they do a bunch of dumb stuff, and kind of everyone is unlikable or everyone is kind of throwaway, and you're just hoping like this really cool looking creature is just going to kill them all. This one is different. So we have this story where the main character Tim, he's just a teen trying to live his life, um, and you find out that his mom has this brain tumor or brain cancer, I should say, and so his life is kind of thrown into this spiral where he has stuck taking care of his mom. His dad's off having to work, and so it's kind of just it's not the most ideal situation for him. But he's a good kid, good son, so he is there to take care of his mom. We then get characters that you would see in a typical slasher or a typical like movie like this, where it's like you have Tim, who is this likable character. I like he has his moments, like an outburst here and there, just kind of frustration, which we can all understand if we were in this type of situation. But he has friends who are dumb, who do dumb things. They're teenagers, they're doing dumb stuff, and they're picking on like the old guy down the street who does weird stuff, who we meet in like the beginning of the movie, and they take this sack, and bad things start to happen, and everything just spirals out of control. I'm going to state this now: the performances aren't stellar, but from doing research on this movie and kind of seeing how this movie was made and everything that was put into it, I was okay with it. There was some performances were kind of laughable. They were kind of unbelievable. And then you have like one character who is just awful that you're just hoping for him to die and you don't really feel too bad because he's kind of the reasoning behind everything that's going on. The thing that sold me, other than I really like the performance of Tim, who is actually played by the director himself, Matt Sampere. If I if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, I apologize. But he was the writer, the director of this thing, and I like his performance. I like kind of how he is kind of the level-headed person who is just trying to make sense of the situation that he is being put in, and he's got to deal with dumb friends. And of course, you have to have like the couple who are very horny and they go outside and they do some things, and um but my the selling point for me, and I've talked about this on my show all the time, whatever iteration of the show we've talked about it. Practical effects are my jam. And the fact that like CGI probably wasn't even in the thought process for this movie because like how are you gonna do CGI when this movie probably didn't cost much to make? I don't know the budget behind this. And to me it doesn't matter. I had a good time. The creature in this movie, the Asosai, is just he's cool looking, man, and he gives off this really cool aura about him. There's some awesome shots of just like of course this movie is primarily happening on Halloween night. And it's this whole thing where it's like this curse, like they cause this demon to awaken and then like it pretty much goes on a rampage and collects souls or whatever it is and then until the strike of midnight Halloween night. So you get this so everything is at night. So like a lot of the lighting is kind of just like lighting on the house, lighting from a car, or like lighting from like a corn maze or whatever it is. But this creature gives off its own light and it's done really well. And the mask that it wears and just how it looks, it it drew me in. They also introduced the lore behind this creature, which is also very interesting. And because again, I love like just give me lore, man. Give me this like cool new thing for Halloween. This could be real. I didn't look too deep into it. I'm just kind of talking about this movie based on just I literally watched the movie and now I'm talking about it. I didn't really deep dive into a lot of stuff. I just want to give you my genuine reaction to the movie. If this is real or like real lore from like generations ago, hey, awesome. Someone let me know or I'll probably look it up after this review. I think people will be deterred, especially when you're watching a lot of movies that are like high budget, actors who have been around doing their thing. I think people really need to look at movies like this and really take in not just like, oh, the acting is horrible or, like it just looks cheap. And it's like, well, it's it is cheap, but it's not cheap because they wanted to make it cheap. It's cheap because that's kind of how it had to be. And I that's why I like talking about these movies because I appreciate what these filmmakers are doing, and they're giving us like something new. Like they're giving us something new, but they're also like some parts seem familiar. But I really appreciate what Matt Sampere did with this movie. Like I said, the effects are phenomenal. I love the look of the creature. I think Matt's performance is the best of the movie, and I also like h the actress who plays his girlfriend, Delian Lincourt. I think she does really well, and of course, Alan Maxon, who is the Aosai himself, I think does a fantastic job, with all of that, and oh my god, I just looked him up. He did performance capture for King Ghidorah in Godzilla: King of the Monsters. Well, hell yeah. Awesome, Alan Maxon, you're the man. That's awesome. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I had a good time. Like just kind of take your head out of it and get past some of the just really quirky and sometimes not very good performances. Um, I feel sometimes it's just kind of how when you're looking at like a cat, like a group, you always have to have like that, oh God, this guy or this girl. Like but it's still fun to watch because you're just like, what are what kind of kills are we gonna get? Like, how creative are we gonna get with this? Instead of it just being like your typical slasher, it's gonna be creative. Like this is a supernatural being, so hey, get creative with it. And I had a good time. I'm definitely gonna be checking this out again once it drops on September 10th. Tomorrow, when you're listening to this, tomorrow it is gonna be on Screambox. Check it out. Seriously, Screambox is worth every penny. They have some amazing exclusives over there, including this one. Listen, guys, Terrifier 3 is going to be coming out very, very soon. And you know that Screambox is going to be having that at some point. So get Screambox. They always have some awesome deals. And they are just great to work with. It's really easy to just reach out and be able to have the opportunity to get these screeners and get to watch them. So thanks again, Screambox. And also, there's some other amazing podcasts I want to shout out that also cover Screambox movies. Old Man Brad, the Flicks and Friends podcast, and the Baron's Hideout podcast, 3 podcasts that I adore. And they also talk a lot about Screambox movies and other indie films, indie horror films as well. So make sure to check all those podcasts out. They'll be in the description. Matt Sampere, you did a great job. I really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, for people who are kind of hesitant about movies that are this low budget, and you look at like the actors and it's like, okay, they don't have a lot going on. Um, Give it a chance. Seriously, it's short and sweet. It's not long. It's probably about an hour and 20 minutes, I think. So, hey, it could be your jam. This could be one of your new favorites to watch every Halloween. I know it's going to be one that I check out probably once a year, just kind of throw it on. Even though it's a movie you can kind of just throw on in the background as well. So, and I think that's always good. I think it's never offensive if I made a movie and somebody was like, "Hey man, I love it when you just like it's one of those movies you could just throw on at a party and blah blah blah." It's like cool, man, because it's memorable, right? So, yeah, that is my review, my quick review on Creeping Death. Make sure to check it out on Screambox September 10th. And make sure to come back here and check out all the wonderful content we got going on. We are talking about a bunch of movies, and we'll definitely be back with another Screambox exclusive at some point. So stay tuned for more Screaming for Screambox. And until next time, get spooky, baby. Bye.